radio program for dissecting the pressing political, social, and economic issues shaping our nation. My name is Sharon MANDOR.
I am Enquiry. Nice to have you too.
Today we delve into the latest figures from the National Bureau of Statistics Quarter 2 2024 Nigerian Labour Force Survey. With unemployment rates seemingly at their lowest and labour force participation on the rise, we're truly witnessing an economic turnaround, or is this a numbers game? I'm just going to run through some stated by the NBS in its report and some of the reactions before we now go into the reaction of the analyst. Now, the NBS in its latest report stated that Nigeria's unemployment rates declined to 4.3% in the second quarter of 2024, signaling improved labor market conditions. Now, according to the report, this marks a decrease from the 5.3% recorded in the first quarter of 2024 and reflects a gradual recovery from the 5% in the third quarter of 2023. The labor force participation rate rose to 79.5%, up from 77.3% in the previous quarter, highlighting increased workforce engagement. The employment to population ratio also showed significant improvement, climbing to 76.1% in the second quarter of 2024 from 73.2% in the first quarter of 2024. And this indicates a higher proportion of the working age population was gainfully employed during the period. Also, self-employment remained dominant, accounting for 85.6% of total employment, an increase from 84% in the preceding quarter. Informal employment also rose slightly to 93%, highlighting the economy's reliance on informal jobs. Urban unemployment stood at 5.2%, a reduction from 6% in the first quarter of 2024. However, rural areas recorded an even lower unemployment rate of 2.8% compared to 4.3% in the previous quarter. And this disparity highlights the continued role is that the unemployment rate has significantly dropped in this latest report of the National Bureau of Statistics. We are being joined in the studio by a seasoned public affairs analyst who will help us unpack the implications of is Dr. Nwana Basiudo. He is a senior lecturer, Department of Public Administration, Akwa Ibom State University. Good morning to you, Doc.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
You're welcome.
Good morning.
Yes.
Okay, so the report shows that the unemployment rate has dropped significantly to 4.3% in the second quarter of 2024. Dr. does this figure reflect the reality of employment in Nigeria, or is it influenced by changes in measurement criteria? I'm asking you on the grounds of, I don't know if you've seen reactions from labor, from the NLC, saying that this is voodoo measurement. Have you seen that? That this is not real. It does not, voodoo document that does not reflect the realities of Nigerians. But we'd like to get your own perspective on things.
Okay, let me start it this way. Some of the indicators of development in any country includes education, health, employment rates, and gender equality. You cannot rule out employment rates in a society, in a developed society. Go to a developed society without mincing words and without sounding hasty, to generalize that everybody works, even the aged, even the older people work as nannies. They are employed, they just take care of children. In Nigeria, you see we about 200 million people, and if you check how many, the percentage of those that form the workforce, you discover that those who are not working are far higher. And just like you are asking to do to compare the release of NBS and the reality on ground. Don't forget that recently many companies have started downsizing their workforce, Some have totally folded up, and so on and so forth. Many companies have left the country because of the harsh economic policies. So, on what grounds is NBS bringing up these statistics that the employment rate has dropped? Who employed who, and at what time? That the second quarter of this year, 2024, that the figure has dropped. For figure to drop, for them to say that figure has dropped, means that they have been citizens, indigents of their states. The previous government came when they were campaigning, said they were going to create 5 million jobs and so on and so forth. I wonder how many millions or hundreds of jobs they created. Even this present government of APC also promised to create jobs. Go to the states, different states. Take for instance Akwa Ibom State. Have they employed? I've not heard of any employment except maybe the one University of Technology in Karawas. Whether that is going on or not, that's the only thing I've heard about employment around this part of the country. So how did MBA come by this figure, these statistics, that the employment rate has dropped? I'm also querying, just like labor is querying them. Dropped. I'm also querying, just like labor is querying them.
You know, it just reminds me of something. When I saw the report, I was talking to a friend of mine, and the next thing she shouted was, "Where are they employing?"
Yes,
because, Nigerians are shocked about this development.
All right, Doctor, let's go this way. Now that we are suspecting the government tampering into the unemployment rates in Nigeria, how will this affect the youths? Because they are the ones that will be most affected, and if they are perhaps saying if their figures are not really favoring the youth.
You have to make this thing public, so you couldn't have done it quietly. So you'll be shocked at the number that would turn out to tender application, and the number that will be frustrated at the end, because as they come with all manner of expectation that they are qualified for the jobs, that they will get the job. Only at the end they will not have the jobs. So if you see civil service open for application now for any position, you see the number of people that will troop in there, and at the end of it all. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that the number of unemployment youths are all over the place. Most of these youths are qualified. They are not happy that they are graduates and they are involved in many jobs and so on. So they are looking for every available opportunity. And the way our society is, it's not altogether encouraging, creation of jobs creation. Maybe small and medium scale enterprises, and so you hear the youths complain about not having the capital to engage in the creation of jobs. Sometimes some of them have the knowledge of what to do and have the ability, but they don't have the wherewithal to start. So I'm thinking, I'm just envisaging that maybe sometime in future, if it continues this way, the youths may be fed up of because the end result of not having what to do, of not having a job, is hunger. And when hunger persists, it affects health
and crime,
and it encourages crime. People lay hands on people's things. People begin to get jealous and envious about those who seem to have made it, and because of that they engage in crime. They attack those people, and so on. So that can also, affecting the health of the people. That's not good enough. But I want to say to the NBS that if they are trying to use that to convince the world that Nigeria is developing or Nigeria has become developed or whatever, because that's an index of development. And so they say, okay, let's project this so that we present a good image of Nigeria to the world. That
the National Assistant General Secretary of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Chris Onyeka, actually said after the release of the report, saying that it's a fabrication designed to mislead the public. But Doctor, I also noticed that urban unemployment is at 5.2% and rural unemployment is at 2.8%. Now, what factors contribute to this disparity? Are rural jobs sustainable or predominantly informal and low-paying?
You mean rural jobs?
Yeah.
You see, rural jobs are mostly agricultural. People go to farm, produce, and so on and so on. Mostly, it's about agriculture. It's about farming, whether in food crops or cash crops like palm fruits, palm trees, and palm produce, and so on, or cassava, mostly yam, and things like that, and also maybe fruits. And so rural employment opportunities abound, mostly the menial jobs. Is it clearing of gutters? Those clearing of gutters, sweeping of the roads. You have to be engaged, directly or indirectly with the ministry that is taking charge of that, like for instance, Ministry of Environment, and so as to be able to sweep the streets that there is contracted to some contractors. And so there are no too many jobs, especially in our state, Akwa Ibom State, because Akwa Ibom State is almost basically a civil service state. It is only recently that it's gradually evolving to become a semi
of a different measurement criteria being used this time, because a number of Nigerians have reacted to this, that this is not what it is. There was a possibility of a different measurement criteria.
NBS has to go back to their drawing boards. Maybe they thought that once they bring out this thing, nobody will say anything. Everybody would just receive it hook, line, and sinker, and then clap hand for them. They have to go back to the methodology they used in